What is one country that you will never visit? North IKEA. I always knew the north part of IKEA was sketchy. I'm poor, so probably most of them. Myanmar. Spent my pre-adolescence there during the previous rule of the junta, when Suki was in house arrest. I cannot begin to explain the fear that was present in everyday life there then. My father had to be at Yangon for some pretty run-of-the-mill corporate work and was nonetheless always on alert. As of October 11, 2012-year-old, I was not allowed to answer telephones, lest I reveal something that might seem problematic to the administration, even in an atmosphere that you were on the brink of rubbing law enforcement the wrong way. My most memorable moments were brushes with the younger adult neighbors in our apartment who were running an illegal computer training center. I cannot imagine their lives now, suspended in constant agitation. Sudan. Either of them. I spent 2 weeks in South Sudan in the summer of 2005. This was when the civil war was still happening, so before Sudan was two separate countries. There was something like 30 kilometers of paved road in all of South Sudan at the time. It was beautiful, but there was literally no infrastructure. Lots of AK-47s though. My dad's colleague was trapped with no connection to outside world in this recent coup in Sudan. Everyone in office was worrying about that group she went with. Thankfully they were extradited to India by the company. Even my dad was being asked repeatedly to go, and he asked me. As I had fairly good grasp of current affairs, I told him no every time as this shoot was going to go down in future. Now I don't think anyone will be sent for projects there. I live in Venezuela, and if I manage to leave Venezuela, I won't come to visit. My good friend is Venezuelan. He left in 2014. Get a few drinks in him and he starts ranting about how much he hated it. I might be your friend. Somalia. 10 out of 10 would prefer over South Sudan. I'm Kenyan and I couldn't imagine setting foot in Somalia. Been to South Sudan a few times and it's pretty okay, but of course that changes sometimes. Haiti. As much as I'd love to visit my mother's home country, there's a reason even my mother hasn't gone back since the early zeros. Haiti continually gets fricked by political unrest, economic upheaval, and ecological turmoil. Combined with the fact that our last living relative that was still there died back in 05, we have no connection to that place anymore. I sincerely, emphatically hope things get better, because one day I would love to connect with that part of my heritage, but not now. And probably not within the next 10 years, either. Many years ago, I went on a Royal Caribbean cruise that stopped at their private island. It was actually a little corner of Haiti. I just Googled it out of curiosity and, holy shoot, our cruise is cheap. 5 nights round the Caribbean, £4.300? That's absolutely insane. That's almost cheaper than just staying home and paying rent plus food plus Lexi plus insurance plus etc. Assuming it's year-round, that's £21,000 for an all-expenses paid accommodation. If I could go fully remote and just work from my cabin on satellite, I'd be tempted. Sad Afghanistan. It's a beautiful country, and I know the regular people are friendly, but I probably won't survive a week there. It's a really sad country in my opinion. You'll see beautiful mountains, and over every other hill is a destroyed town or Soviet tank graveyard. I really would love to visit Afghanistan, but I'm stupid enough that I would die the minute I step off the plane. Syria is such a bed of history's cities that are ancient that I'd love to see for myself, but sadly just wouldn't be safe, I think, for a long time. I'll never go back to Switzerland. It's pretty. I just can't afford to breathe there. Even talking about Switzerland feels expensive. I don't think we can afford this conversation. The Republic of Congo. Edit. What I meant to type was DRC. Not sure why my brain neglected to type the first word. Is it substantially worse than DRC? Last I read about the topic, the Republic of the Congo is actually supposed to be relatively safe by sub-Saharan African standards, while the DRC is extremely dangerous. But that was some years back, so I don't know if it's still true today. Liberia. Hands down. Interesting comma placement. Check out the username. Reading the comments on this and a previous thread as an Egyptian woman, I feel so ashamed of my country and sad for all the women who had to deal with terrible kinds of sexual harassments in Egypt and many more unfortunate events that happened there. I'm so sorry you had to go through this, and I'm apologizing on behalf of everyone who dared to make you feel uncomfortable in any way. Because I absolutely know what you went through. It's what almost every Egyptian woman goes through every day, and we're still not heard. You don't have anything to apologize for. Probably Afghanistan. It's not safe for foreigners. Not safe for Afghans either. Not safe for anything that can breathe. Egypt, the pyramids would be amazing to see, but I've heard a lot of unbelievable stuff about the place and read some horrid stories. The last time I saw this posted, it seemed every woman in the world should avoid Egypt. When I was 16, my godmother and I were planning a trip to Egypt. Then I mentioned I was taking Italian classes at my high school, and that led to us deciding to go to Italy instead. Remember we landed in Rome, turned on the TV in our hotel room, and discovered that the 2011 Egyptian uprising was happening literally at that moment when we would have been there. Crazy luck. Burkina Faso. Look it up. It's a pretty messed up place, but I'm not talking just about the socio-political stuff. I'm talking about diseases. When I worked at a medical clinic, one of the departments in my unit, I worked registration front desk, was international travel medicine, where you get your shots before you go to some exotic location and or get malaria meds, etc. I asked one of the PAs what place has the most shots if you want to go there. He said Burkina Faso. Don't go there. I am from Burkina Faso, and well, apart from the rise in terrorism, I think most people here live quite well compared to some other places in Africa, even if they are in poverty. People have a great sense of community, and there's a lot of entertainment around the capital city, very good theater shows, various festivals, museums. I know quite a few foreigners, Americans, Canadians and French, who enjoy it here and have decided to make it their home. None have died from any disease that I know yet. Honestly, the climate is pretty hot here, but not humid, and I would think there are less ways of getting bad diseases here than in more humid places like Côte d'Ivoire. Honestly, I love my country, and it's a very cool place to live in if you find your people and have enough money. By just no going to the extreme north-northeast and staying in big cities like Ouagadougou, one can have a very good time in Burkina Faso. North Korea. To check the box, you can go to the joint security area and walk around the conference table that sits in the border. Just make sure you leave through the right door. Done that. There's always a guard standing by the door into the north to make sure. Any place that treats me like a second or third class citizen, because I am female, I will not reward that bullshit with my money. In Japan, I had a lady walk up to me, and in very clear and determined English she said, "The man behind me won't leave me alone. Please pretend to be my friend or boyfriend or brother, whatever. Please don't leave me." I hugged her and kissed her on the head, and asked her how her family was, that it had been so long and that I missed her. The guy came up to us and was talking to her in Japanese. She leaned on me the entire time and I was just nodding with everything as she said. She was sweating. After what seemed like forever, he shook my hand and left. The woman put some bills in my pocket, 4,000 yen, as I've just been educated, and asked me to take her to her friend's house. I did and watched her get in, and waved to me from the window. Then I remembered I was walking in a strange country and had no idea where I was. Qatar, especially with their whole using slaves to build the World Cup stadium thing. Qatar, Dubai, Bahrain, basically all the wealthy Gulf cities. If I wanted gaudy displays of money in a desert, I'd go to Vegas. North Sentinel Island. You can visit once, you won't leave, and your visit will be short. Oh, they make sure you leave. They push your bloated body out to sea so the current will take you. The Swiss Army man kind of a ride. North Korea. For obvious reasons. I would not visit any country that doesn't have indoor plumbing. Extremely important. And a clean throne for poop's sake. If I cannot relax while pooping, the vacation is not a vacation. Japan has your back and makes you feel like a king on that throne. With my current funds, most of them, thanks for the awards friends, I can hardly afford to visit anywhere other than work and home in my own country. Edited to add, if you don't mind hard work, The US Merchant Marine is a great way to get paid to travel. You'll go to a lot of places for a few days, max, but you'll have lots of time off when not on a job to go wherever you'd like. It's civilian and very unionized. USA citizens residents of 17 plus should check out seafarers.org. United Arab Emirates, or more specific, Dubai. It seems so fake and soulless, and it's built on human misery. My boss is pretty well traveled and was invited to Dubai circa 7 years ago to meet a prospective client, all expenses paid by them. She was excited to go because of how the place looked on websites, photos, etc., but when she came back she said it was the most miserable, soulless, over-corporate experience. Just the whole fake city built on appealing to as many visitors as possible. She was invited out again in the following year, again on the client's dime, and declined. Did a Skype call instead. Anywhere in the rough parts of the Middle East. Not technically a country, but North Sentinel Island. The indigenous population have historically killed any non-native on site. Well, it is illegal to visit that island. Any people that got killed went there by trespassing, so you won't be able to visit the island in the first place normally. Also, the island population, which is declining, is highly susceptible to foreign diseases, so anyone else going there might wipe them all off. Well, there are about 70 countries I can't legally visit, and 11 where the death penalty can apply. As a woman, there are several I would never visit, mostly Middle East, as they continue to have medieval beliefs about women's value and equality. Yeah. Any place I need a male guardian or don't have automatic equal legal rights is a no-go for me. I'm sure there are beautiful sights to see and all that, but no. If I'm not recognized as a full person legally, because I'm a woman, I won't be setting foot in that country.